Welcome to the Cabinet meeting of the 22nd of September. Item 1 is apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies? Thank you. Item 2 is urgent business. I haven't received any yet. So no items of urgent business. Item 3 is declarations of interest. Does any member have a declaration to make related to any of business on the agenda? Is this echoey? Yes. Let me swap. Let's try this one. Is that better? Oh, yeah. Okay. So does any member have a declaration to make related to any item of business on the agenda? I'll take silence as no. Item 4 is public question time. We've had one question from a Mr. Matthew Broadbent, who says, in 2024, a photo published in the press showed Councillor Mark Hince wearing an army uniform decorated with Nazi swastikas, which he called a one-off. A later video emerged on social media in which he wears the same uniform, and 4 others captured him making statements such as "vote right, keep white," calling foreigners savages and joking about black people shining shoes. Does the leader retain confidence in Councillor Hince as planning committee chair per the 7 principles of public life, and why was he chosen over experienced Labour councillors to the chair of committee? Don't think that mic's either. So, to be honest, answer from Mr. Broadbent is I'm not here. The behaviour of elected members, and especially like those that aren't even members of my group. We'll try again. So what I'm going to try to do is speak really loud so that the camera picks up what I'm trying to say. So basically what I'm saying is I'm not here to sort of explain the behaviour of elected members, and especially those that aren't members of my group. I think what I will say though is that Councillor Hince has already explained that these videos are satirical and that he attended Yanks weekend in costume. That these events were long before he was an elected member of the council, so I suggest that if Mr. Broadbent has an issue, he takes it directly with Mr. Hince. I have no authority to say anything to Councillor Hince about that. And that's all I have to say on that matter. So item 5 is minutes of previous meeting. So does the Cabinet agree with the minutes of the meeting held on the 21st of July and the 8th of September?
Agree.
Thank you. Item 6 is Revenue Monitor and Capital Investment Programme 25-26. Councillor Jabbar.
Thank you, Chair. So we bring the Revenue Monitor and the Capital Investment Programme to you every quarter. So this is the first quarter of this financial year. It's up to end of June 2025. As you'll see from the report, Chair, that we forecasting for the financial year 25-26 there will be an overspend of £20.8 million. This is on the basis that there's no mitigation that takes place, but also on the basis of 3 areas of expenditure, primarily adult social care, children's services, and property aspect of the council business. Now, it is a significant amount of overspend. We are going to look at, or we are looking at this, we have been looking at this, and taking all kinds of action to make sure that we manage this overspend and hopefully get rid of it in totality. It is very challenging because some of the pressures that we feel in adult social care, children's services, and temporary accommodation is shared by nearly all local authorities across the country. So it isn't Oldham unexpectedly in this position. However, we are working very, very hard, and I know the senior management team looking at this forensically to see what we can do to reduce the numbers in total. You will have a report from me bringing and giving you details spend in each of the areas, including the capital spend. Insofar as the capital is concerned, then the budget is for the financial year is actually one of the highest we've had for a long, long time. It's nearly over 160 million pound. So far, we've spent just on over 9 million, 10 million pound, and 9% of the total budget. It fluctuates depending on the contract. I'm being assured that there aren't any issues insofar as the spend or the projected spend is concerned. I'm happy to take any question. With me this evening, Chair, is the Director of Finance, Lee Walsh, and the Executive Director, Fiona Greenway. So together we'll take any questions which a member may have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Jabbar. Does anybody have any questions or comments to make on that? No? So I'm just going to make a brief comment, and I think I will say it at every single meeting where we discuss like finances of the council, and I just think some of the language needs to be match the situation and the realistic like situation that we're in. It's not overspent, Councillor Jabbar. It's not like, I've said this repeatedly, it's not like you go shopping and you just think, I've got this much money and I'll spend a bit more. This is like predicated on the demand that we have in our communities. We are responsible for statutory services that we have to provide. It's not like any other private business where you just decide to pick and choose or what. We're not a commercial business in the sense that we don't put people before, that we don't put profit before people. We put people before anything. And the thing is, when it's described in that way, it doesn't give a true indication of the challenges that we face. When we look at our demographics, when we look at the challenges that we face, and the impact of demand from the residents who need it the most. And I pride myself on being a council leader that looks after authority and has responsibility for people, and I want to put people first, and vulnerable people especially. So can we just be really mindful of how, when we're presenting these reports, we're presenting them in a way where, we are showing and indicating the true picture of the challenges that we face, and there's like, and that is being open and transparent, and using words that make it look like we've been reckless or we've not done our job properly is a bit problematic for me, because I don't think that fully captures the challenges that we have. Adult social care, children's services, lots of other services, like they are statutory services, like no other business, so I just want us to be a bit more mindful. We have got, and even the new government has acknowledged that they will now start profiling the areas and giving spend to areas based on those demographic and poverty and stuff like that. And I really welcome that, but that is really important, because we're blessed with a strong team of officers, and I feel like we're blessed with a strong team of cabinet members who take their roles really, really seriously and do right by the people that we represent. We're a public service, and we will continue to be a public service that puts people before profit. So I just wanted to add that point, and I want to thank you for the stuff that you do and your officers in making sure that we do also balance our priority, making sure that we set a proper budget and balance the books.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with you. Perhaps the word I should use is then adverse impact on our budget for the financial year 25-26. But you're absolutely right. We're not like any other business. When you have a budget, and then if you overspend, you overspend. It's not like that, as you eloquently explained. When we have adult social care trying to come in, we have to deal with it. And if it's above our forecast, then still we have to deal with it, because we have a statutory duty. Now, no private business operates like that. So you're right not to call it overspending in that sense, but just trying to give you an idea of what was happening. But I agree, from now on I'll call it adverse impact by doing like that. But there is for the general public who's listening, there is a real issue. We are not like a public sector private business. We're completely different. When we set our budget, and then when we have demand that comes through our door, we don't take any regards of the business. We just have to deal with the demand that comes through, whether it's children's services, whether it's homeless, whether it's adult social care or anything else. And that is completely different from a normal business where you have a budget and you try to operate within that budget. Because if we didn't take our responsibility, to stand responsibility, we'll all be in a terrible mess, and we don't want to be. We want to be very, very careful and make sure that whoever a vulnerable person, whether it's a child or there's an adult, require our support, we will do that. And under your leadership, you made that very, very clear. That's fine, but I'll just try to give you feedback from finance. Perhaps I got too involved with looking at the figures rather than actually the rural service that we provide. But your point's noted, and we'll make sure that's reflected in the future reports. Thank you.
Thank you. Does Cabinet agree with the recommendations as set out in the report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 7 is introduction of Article 4 direction for housing of multiple occupation. Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. This report has been brought forward to consider an Article 4 direction for houses of multiple occupation, or HMO. An Article 4 direction removes the permitted development rights for the conversion of a dwelling into a small HMO, allowing the conversion of dwelling houses into HMOs for up to 6 residents. This report identifies the options available, based on the evidence presented by planning officers, to introduce a non-immediate Article 4 direction that will be implemented borough-wide. If this report is agreed by Cabinet tonight, there will be a period of consultation from the 29th of September to the 9th of November for 6 weeks. Following the conclusion of the consultation, all feedback will be brought back to Cabinet for consideration to consider the outcome of the consultation and to determine if the Article 4 direction should be confirmed. If so, this will come into effect on the 1st of January 2026. In addition, Chair, to the recommendations in the report, I'd also like to recommend to Cabinet that we consider updating Resolution number 3 to say that as well as bringing the report back to Cabinet, that we also take it to Council at the first available opportunity to consider the outcome of the consultation and to determine if the Article 4 direction should be confirmed. I think that will give members the opportunity at Council to debate this, because obviously this emanated from a Council motion. Thank you.
Okay, does any other member wish to speak? No? It says Cabinet agree with the recommendation that's set out in the report and the resolution that Councillor Taylor has just outlined.
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Item 8, Asylum dispersal grant, over to you, Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. So obviously I'm really happy to bring forward this report to formally accept the Home Office Asylum dispersal grant, which equates to £898,800. This is an annual payment for the financial year 1st of April 2025 to the 31st of March 2026, and is paid by the Home Office to local authorities to assist with the costs of supporting asylum seekers. The grant is designed to mitigate the pressure of asylum dispersal and therefore does not have to be spent solely or specifically for the expenditure on asylum seekers. So this grant will enable the Council to mitigate the pressure on services and provide further funding to increase capacity and services to support all of the residents.
Does any member wish to speak? Does Cabinet agree with recommendations as set out in the report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 9 is young people's substance misuse and sexual health service contract extension. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Chair. This is very straightforward. We have an existing contract for young people's sexual health and substance misuse service, which finishes in March next year. The terms of the contract allow us to extend it for a further 2 years, subject to them having performed satisfactorily, which I can confirm they have done in spades. So I would very much like to recommend that we extend the contract for a further 2 years. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Does any member wish to speak? No? Does Cabinet agree with the recommendations set out in the report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 10 is future commissioning arrangements for care at home, extra care support and night provision support services. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Chair. I mean, this is similar, that we're asking for new contractual arrangements. So again, the existing contract expires at the end of March next year. So what we're asking is for permission to extend again and to explore the possibility of getting some more providers on board. So that will allow us to improve the service even further. So this contract covers 3 elements: care at home, which deals with about 1,100 people. So we're going to keep the commissioning model as it is. So Oldham is split into 5 clusters that link to the primary care networks. So that ensures that health and social care alignment is aligned and is integrated working. We're seeking 2 prime providers to be allocated to each of the 5 clusters, but with a number of backup providers. Now this should ensure that no one has to wait for care services in their own home. We implemented a similar model in 2019, so unlike many other authorities, we do not currently have any waiting lists, so that's really important. So the second element is extra care housing, which provides support for about 250 people. Again, we're seeking 1 prime provider to deliver the care and support services across the 6 extra care housing sites we have. The successful provider will work closely with housing managing agents, ensuring a holistic service in place. The third element is night care. So we're seeking to commission a single provider to enable the extra care housing model to provide care to people who may require nighttime support. Formally commissioned, this will enable adult social care to further enhance the model, enabling people to live independently for as long as possible and avoid early admissions into residential and nursing homes. So I think this contract's a crucial element of the care that we provide in different ways. So I would urge the Cabinet to agree that we can go out to tender. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Bromwich. Does any member wish to speak on that item? No, do members agree with recommendations as set out in the report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 11 is Highways Maintenance Framework Contracts. Councillor Goodwin.
Thank you, Chair. This is quite a straightforward one. It requests the approval to establish new frameworks and contracts to deliver and facilitate highways maintenance in Oldham, and this is due to the previous framework ending, so that we remain legal in our procurement work.
Thank you, Councillor Goodwin. Does any member wish to speak? Does Cabinet agree with recommendations as set out in the report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 12, again, is you, Councillor Goodwin, it's the grant acceptance, CRSDS, reprioritisation of funding.
Yes, this is a good news story because we've been awarded funding of £7.3 million towards the delivery of 2 projects, which is the Oldham Edge and Higginshaw Active Travel Link and Oldham Town Centre Sustainability Connected Living. So I'm asking Cabinet to accept the funding. It complements the other schemes that we've got on St Mary's Way, Monts, Roadway to Rochdale Canal, Park Road and Kings Road. Yeah, so it's a good news story for who wants to accept funding.
Thank you, Councillor Goodwin. Does any member wish to speak? Are we delighted to accept the funding and agree recommendations as set out in the report?
Great.
Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of the meeting. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.